I mean, in my view, it's about trying to figure out how we can live better together. That is the ultimate project, because when people came here, when settlers first came, the intention wasn't to just kick them out. The intention was to find peace and find a way to coexist. Coexistence is the objective. Peaceful, harmonious, balanced coexistence is the objective.
Okay, but you don't feel that you have that coexistence right now?
Look at the state of our communities. Look at the state of our populations. There's so many communities, so many ways in which our people have been oppressed for so many years. Just fighting to even do something as simple as reclaim a name has taken how long? A name is just one small step, but yeah.
Do you think another step would be to rename Victoria? To what name would you change Victoria?
Well, that's not my place to say. I'm not from this territory, so we're here to support whatever the local communities want to do.
But you would like to rename some other places as well, because the colonizers came and put their own names.
Well, we would support nations and communities that want to take that initiative, because the biggest part of this is engaging in a dialogue with the broader community. And today, you see there's people from all over, many different communities who have come together to learn about that history and to figure out what they're going to do about the places that they both share and call home.
So on behalf of all of my family and my relatives here, we all stand here together and acknowledge each and every one of you for being here today. The traditional name for the land that we all stand on here tonight is PKOLS, and it is the wish of our people to bring that name back to this territory. This is a traditional land of us Kusatnich people.
Well, I'm here as a UVic student, but also as part of the Indigenous Nationhood movement, which is a bunch of Indigenous people and allies that have come together to support different local Indigenous communities that want to take action in support of their nationhood.
Okay, what is this movement trying to do, to achieve?
Ultimately, decolonization. I mean, we want to restore the original places the original relationships in those places for all Indigenous peoples and nations all across Turtle Island.
So what exactly do you mean by decolonization? What happens to the government that we have right now? Should we form a new native government to replace the existing one, or what does it mean?
In my mind, it means a return to what those original relationships were that have been dishonored. And an event like today is a really important way of taking a first step towards that. It's recognizing that there were nations here at the time of contact. Those nations continue to exist, will continue to exist, just like their place names. Those cultures, those languages, those nations persist. And in order for a balanced relationship to happen between the settler populations, the Canadian state, and the Indigenous peoples, that nationhood, those nations need to be recognized and need to come into a better balanced relationship between them.
You feel they are not recognized now?
I think it's evident from everything that was shared today that the treaties that were signed, that the intent of those treaties was a good intent in a lot of times, but it got taken in a lot of directions that didn't honor and didn't respect and continue to not respect the Indigenous peoples of the land.
Okay, so respecting those treaties would mean separate territories, Indigenous territories, and side by side with existing Canadian estates?
Yeah, I mean, in my view, it's about trying to figure out how we can live better together. That is the ultimate project, because when people came here, when settlers first came, the intention wasn't to just kick them out. The intention was to find peace and find a way to coexist. Coexistence is the objective. Peaceful, harmonious, balanced coexistence is the objective.
So on behalf of my relatives here, we wish to do a reenactment of the treaty as it was passed down to us. You know, a lot of the teachings that were given to us about this treaty was carried in here in our Squalequins. So I'd like to share, we have our hereditary chiefs that are here with us who are going to do a reenactment of the traditional treaty that was once made here on this mountain. So again, I'd like to remind each and every one of you, this traditional land here is named PKOLS. And it's the wish of our people to bring that name back to this mountain and back to our traditional territory.
I am Kutchkeenum, one of the hereditary chiefs of the Saanich Nation from my village of Sayot, on this side of the peninsula. My granduncles, my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother all lived on the shores of Cordova Bay for many, many years until the government moved us off of there. So I'd like to introduce Janet Rogers, and we're going to start our reenactment now.
During the mid-1800s, when Sir James Douglas was relocated to Vancouver Island and promoted to oversee Hudson Bay Company dealings with the natives, an incident occurred which left one young Indian man dead. The local tribes agreed to meet with Douglas on PKOLS, the mountain where we now stand, with the intention to get revenge for the murder of the young man.
On this day, in 1852, let it be known that I, Sir James Douglas, Governor of Vancouver Island and Chief Factor on behalf of the Hudson's Bay Company, concede, in good faith, to meet with this Indian tribe who represents their nations from around these territories, to resolve matters inspired by a great misunderstanding. It is my priority to ensure we can resolve this matter peacefully and engage in respectful relations through fruitful trade beneficial to us all.
There will be no peace between us. We do not agree to conduct business with you or your people. We see how you conduct business on this land. Your people raise their rifles and fire at any moving body running in the territory. Are you that greedy for your game? Your people brought down one of our young men and shot him dead while he was traveling to a neighboring community. He was doing good deeds. He was doing what he was told. He was murdered, and for that you must pay.
Halt! All this violence does us no good. We are all God-fearing people here, and we must work towards peace and harmony and forgiveness. We must exercise good faith with one another, and above all, trust in our God's guidance in all matters. Sir Douglas, I know you feel regret and remorse for the loss of the young Indian man. Do you not?
Absolutely, Father. You have my word. What occurred in the field was a dreadful accident.
Chief, you have my word. These are peaceful, spiritual people. They honor and show grace to a holy power, just as you do. They desire peace. They value your trade and good relations. Please make peace with them. They are your brothers in God's family.
Do they believe in God the way we do? Can we trust them to keep their word? You know, our people are peace-loving people. We honor each other. And I think maybe since they believe in God, they believe in God just the way we believe in now, that maybe we can trust them to honor their word and live amongst us in peace and lead us to our way of life. My people value family. We are peaceful and spiritual people, and we protect what we value when it is threatened. We will make peace with its visitors at your suggestion, Father. We will make trade if it pleases your God.
As the mistrustful relations between them began to heal, Sir James Douglas took the opportunity to compose a treaty based on the 1763 Royal Proclamation that would relieve the Indian nations of their traditional territories and see them shrunk back to a fraction of their original size. By doing so, Douglas perpetuated more misunderstandings on paper and with the stroke of many pens took the land and renamed it to reflect himself and the invasive power of the British colonies, including the mountain where we presently stand. On this 22nd day of May 2013, we of the Wasenac Nation tribe and our neighboring nations, along with citizens of Victoria, gather to reinstate the original name of Mount Douglas to PKOLS Mountain. From this day forward, so be it known.
to touchdown the last set to sail him up. And he disembarked from his canoe there. On the shore it fell. And on that shore the beautiful black shiny stones we call Kundalas. And he picked up one of those black shiny stones and he threw it in towards the land and nothing appeared. So he stooped over and he picked up another. The second one he threw and it grew a mountain. That stone became sacred to our people from that time on. That mountain became a sacred place. So he filled the basket full of those stones and from that shore. And he walked to the top of that mountain with all the people just like we are here today. And when they arrived to the top of that mountain, then he threw those black stones around. And this is one of them here that has grown here from that stone. This place here we call it PKOLS. And he threw the others all around to all the mountains that are in this territory, still today standing before us all. It was the sacred one's work. And that we have acknowledged today. And he threw 3 stones, 3 PKOLS. So let's mock watch. Quill the water, flip the sun again, so let's mock watch. The kaka, face that. In that, touch the tatia. Large tree land, to land, shishish land. If you go over there, you'll see it, it's still sticking out of the mountain. It's a white granite stone. It's still there. Threw it from Smockwatch and it landed in this place. And that's when that place got called PKOLS. He threw 3 of them there. One over there, PKOLS, they still call it White Rock today. PKOLS. And the other one went over to
Elwa.
Sunshine Coast area, I can't think of it. Seashell, Square Nest, they got a PKOLS, we got a PKOLS, and people from over there, PKOLS area in White Rock, they have a PKOLS. And we were all within the same kind of people within that territory. We had shared our territories along here. There was no hard borders between our families. We are related, interrelated, intermarried around our tribes here. No hard lines and borders. And we work together like family. Oh, I put in this way in this shade, at this quality end of it. And oh, please, the the children's grandchild. The end of high school, what's paying them? No clearly at the end, putting at the end. At the end. The Moko clearly share at the high school's putting it all special shade. Thank you for helping us for this work today and supporting us. High school.
We have the artist here that created this beautiful sign for us, Charles Elliott, world-renowned artist, and we're so thankful that he did so. I'm going to call Charles forward, and then we're going to install the sign. Right?
Hey Scott. For my real name, Mawson, Charles Elliott, especially at an occasion like this. I was anxious and ready to help out with such a great occasion as today. This idea about renaming, putting the names back on our territory probably comes from our ancestors' time. And when you take a name like PKOLS and take it off, and then you have no regard for the people who honored that name. And I'm going to try not to speak too harshly, but the enactment of taking our names off our territories and putting on the English names and French names, whatever they may be, is not a nice thing to do to any people. So today is a great day, and I know that our ancestors will be proud of us for doing what we're doing. They must be wondering when we were going to start moving and reacting to the things that have been done to us. And we know Idle No More is a movement that's been going on across Canada, United States, and other parts of the world. So this is part of, we're not idle by doing this. We're actually doing something outside of the confines of the Indian Affairs jurisdiction. The treaty has brought maybe a lot of sadness to our people, and it's guaranteed us basically hunting and fishing rights, but really, when you look into it, the court records are full of us over the court cases where we were forced into courts to defend ourselves because we wanted to feed our families. So hunting and fishing, what they put in there, our people kind of rely on that because we still are hunters and fishers. But there's no way we gave away our land when that treaty was signed. There's a member in our family, Saheelam, Chief Dave Latesse. His picture is famous around the world, actually. And it's in many learned institutions, museums and that. And it's obvious he was posing for the camera for the museum because he didn't look all that happy, but they had him holding a spear. And he was one of the last people protesting that this is not meant ever to be a land treaty, but a peace treaty brought about by the incidents that were mentioned earlier about the loss of life of one of our children only when he was trying to cross to his family's home. That's a true story there. So we don't believe that this treaty has alienated us from our lands. We still believe these lands are ours, and maybe it's a terrible misunderstanding, but we've been made to live by it. And there was a thing that said in the treaty, you may hunt and fish as firmly on occupied land. Take a look around. Where is it? Everything's occupied. So that deal was full of holes, wasn't it? But anyways, I think that in the coming time there'll be more to be said about this treaty that was signed, and sometimes even the signatories are questioned. And some of our people's names were on there. But all in all, it hasn't brought a lot of happiness to us. And today I think is a happy day because we're acting and not just reacting. Well, I started off to say I was given a little task and an honor, a big honor, when I was asked, do you have any kind of symbolism or any kind of design that we could put on the new sign, PKOLS? And I thought for a while about it, and the Thunderbird, that's a depiction of the Thunderbird coming over the mountains. And all throughout First Nations territories on the coast, the Thunderbird story exists. The Thunderbird is the highest spiritual form that we honor, that we depict in our artwork, that we have the highest respect for. That's why I thought the Thunderbird would be a fitting symbol for here, because no one in our culture or no one should ever go against what the Thunderbird stands for, and the Thunderbird stands for all good. The Thunderbird is a messenger of PKOLS, our Creator, who can only be accessed through our Creator. So the symbolism is of the highest order. And the Thunderbird we usually depict coming over the mountain. PKOLS. Because PKOLS, the Thunderbird was maybe bearing witness to what happened in those days. We read in Brentwood Bay, we talk about the Thunderbird coming over the Malhat with the thunder and the sound of the lightning. So anyways, all you people, Mquelia, this is a depiction of the Thunderbird, a high symbol for our people, and it's like a stamp of approval for when we do something. We should have the Thunderbird for our backup, for our respect, and for our connection with the creation and the lands that were bestowed upon us by the Creator. So that's why I felt the Thunderbird was a fitting symbol for all of us to use and to be proud of when we talk about our lands, our Chilangan, our rights, our privileges. We haven't given any of that up. As far as we're concerned, we're sovereign nations, and we are denied to practice our sovereignty because you never see us sitting at the tables of the United Nations. We're nations denied. And I think that there's a movement on that. We may someday sit at that table, at least I hope we will. I've watched my preceding generations struggle and fight for our rights, and then each one of us that's here has got family members who are dedicated to fighting for our rights. So maybe we're a step closer today. I really believe we are, and on behalf of myself, my family, all our friends, I'd like to just thank all of you who have come out this evening to partake in this horrendously wonderful celebration where we put our name back on this sacred mountain. They're all sacred to us. So, Haishka.
So, on behalf of our people, to witness this great event, we want you to know here, we will keep in touch and following everything you do, because we're going to come here to help and support and to help witness and to help validate anything that you ever do, because what you're doing right now is you're claiming your position, reclaiming your position and reclaiming your identity through your culture, through your language, through your teachings, and that's the greatest thing. We are so honored to be here, because like I said, you can't learn this in the classroom. And I'm happy to see that the young children are here, that the non-native people are here, because this is a gracious moment. Gracious moment. We've been given the opportunity to learn, and we're happy to be here. I want to thank the chiefs, the hereditary chiefs, for teaching us their ancient teachings, for allowing us to be here to share the experience with them. Hakela Kessler.